All right, guys. Live stream should be starting up now. How's it going? Really excited to talk about this 3-game NBA slate. So, if you guys are new to the channel, new to the live stream, how it works is we'll take a look at what we know so far as news for starters, injuries, stuff like that. You know, I'll keep an eye on news. I'll try to keep an eye on chat if I miss anything. And then I'll give a player or a team-by-team breakdown, kind of looking or tell you guys where I'm looking to mainly. And then we'll get to questions at the end. So, let's start with what we know so far. All right, let me refresh this. I think I'm at the top here. So, Celtics, we have their starting lineup. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Javonte Green, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams. We have Harden will play about 20 minutes, according to the beat writers. PJ Tucker will also start, along with Gordon, Wall, and Cousins. So starters for the Rockets have been getting not a ton of run. Low 20s. Boogie's been playing under 20 minutes in back-to-back games. Yeah, again, Harden, Tucker will start. Harden will play 20-ish. Tucker will play a bit less. I'm not really interested in PJ Tucker. We did get news of Celtic starters everyone will play 10-plus minutes. So I was kind of doing the math there, right? We have, 48 minutes per player times 5. So that's 240. And they said 13 players will play. If you on average, that's 18 minutes a player. You know, I would say probably the starters get a little more run, but, you know, my best guess right now is probably high teens to low 20s for the Celtics starters. Again, that's not great for the preseason. What we're aiming for is really 25 to 30 is kind of the sweet spot. Let's see. So Doc Rivers for the 76ers said he expects Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid to play close to normal minutes in the first half, but very little in the second half. So also not great, right? They're probably going to play a fair amount in the first half. I would say around 18 minutes, and then maybe not at all in the second half. So, yeah, the first game with 76ers and Celtics is not super appealing. We'll talk about some value plays that I think are in play. Again, we just went over that, right? They're going to play very little, if at all, in the second half. Warriors news, we have no Eric Pascal, no Smoljic tonight. Also, still no Draymond Green and Wiseman. So Golden State is pretty thin up front. Marquise Chris, I believe, is still questionable as well. So, you know, guys like Kevon Looney, Chris, if he plays, you know, we might have to consider a guy like Juan Toscano Anderson, actually, just because they don't have a lot of depth in the front court. With the Kings, we don't have a ton of news right now. Whiteside, Bagley, status is still up in the air. I don't think either play, but we'll see. Spurs, yeah, nothing really changed there. This is like the Celtics. They said the depth chart, right? So no Tice, no Tristan Thompson. They are a little bit thin up front. So Robert Williams, we know, is a good point per minute guy. I think he's going to be pretty popular today. Grant Williams, I also have Taco Fall. Again, everyone's going to play 10-plus minutes here. So really where I'm looking to is probably those value bigs for Boston. And then that's really it so far for what we got. Marquise Chris, good to go. Is he good to go? I haven't seen that yet. I saw his status up in there. Michael Vassell. Devin Vassell is definitely in play, rookie for the Spurs. Can Harden get off in that 20 minutes? Of course. Like, this is a situation where, you know, last couple of slates, we've had teams where we really wanted to jam players in, right? With the 2 slates ago, I believe, the Lakers, last slate with the Pelicans, just because we knew, you know, Lakers two slates ago were super short-handed. Pelicans, last slate, they said the starters going to get 30-plus minutes. We don't have like one team that I want a ton of exposure to. So it makes for kind of interesting slate. It's a small slate. And again, I would recommend playing lighter for these small slates. And then, yeah, again, I'll keep an eye on this list with all the beat writers in it. Devin Vassell, let's see, logged 25 minutes the other night, and due to injuries in the wing, he could see some real minutes early in the season. Yeah, so I think, again, Devin Vassell, definitely a viable, cheap play. If I miss anything, let me know in the chat, but I'll try to keep an eye on this as I go through each team. So before we start getting into the team-by-team breakdown, or the play-by-play breakdown. I'll ask one time, guys, if you enjoy this content, to hit that like button. It helps me out a ton to put out free content for you guys every single day. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Would really, really appreciate that. Is Simmons in play? Yeah, I think he's viable, but a little bit more contrarian just because there's a decent chance he doesn't play in the second half. So let's go over what we know for Boston, right? So we got the news of 13 players are going to play 10-plus minutes. So, guys like Tatum, guys like Brown, I think are more contrarian at this point. Like, if they only get high teens to low 20s in minutes, I would, like Tatum at 8-3, I would just rather play Harden at the similar price. So I would rather play John Wall. I'd rather play Steph. So I'm not like going out of my way to jam in Tatum or Brown. I just think, again, they're a little bit more contrarian on the slate. Now, can they get you there in that limited time? Of course they can. But I'm not really prioritizing them. Same thing with Marcus Smart at 6'5". It's just this game in general, like the studs at least, I'm not super excited about. DK sent you a Spurs tweet. Did we get news on the Spurs? Let me know what it there's Popovich says the team won't start big lineup versus Houston, wants to give more time to the young guys. Okay, thanks for tagging me in that. So, wants to give more time to the young guys. That makes the starters a lot riskier now for San Antonio. So, that is interesting news. Again, I just retweeted that. Popovich said he wants to give the younger guys more minutes for San Antonio. So we'll get to that. But really, I think at the moment it's the late game that I have the most interest in, just because Sacramento, the starters have been getting mid to high 20s minutes. Golden State, they're pretty thin. So I think this is the game you want the most exposure to at the moment, just off what we know so far. I like Lonnie Walker. Yeah, so Lonnie Walker only played 13 minutes in the last game. Definitely more viable in this one. Yeah, I think he goes a little bit lower owned just because we did just get that news about 30 minutes before lock. So, but yeah, let's go back to Boston. Jeff Teague at 4.9. Yeah, that's a cheap price point, but I'm not going to jam him in either. Really where I'm looking to is the bigs, like a guy like Robert Williams, right? When we know that he's not going to get huge minutes, you got to target guys that are great point per minute guys. Robert Williams is a really good point per minute guy. Now, he's going up against Embiid, so it's not really the best spot. And I'm honestly worried about him fouling out in 10 minutes. I think that's a realistic, that could happen. So Robert Williams is one of the guys I'm looking to for Boston, just because, again, he's a guy that if we only get 10 to 15 minutes, he can go out and put 15 fancy points up at a cheap price. So I think Robert Williams is intriguing. I think he will be somewhat popular tonight. The other options, Grant Williams at 4.3. Again, they're really thin up front. Sure, in play. You can even consider Taco Fall. Realistically, he's going to get 10-plus minutes. So I think he's viable. Really, there's not a ton I love on Boston, but I think my favorite play would be Robert Williams or one of those other value bigs if you want to go there. Everyone else is just, if you land on some of these guys, sure, Carson Edwards is a guy that can light it up in a short amount of time. But, yeah, there's no one I'm really prioritizing here. Is Aldridge still a good pick? Not as much now. It worries me now. Aldridge played about 25 minutes that last game, and they said they want to give the starters Taco Tuesday. It is Taco Tuesday. That is true. So, yeah, Aldridge is more risky. Same with DeRozan. I prefer now more the young guys for Houston, who we'll get to. Again, I'll probably have to be messing with my lineup myself during this stream, so I'll do my best to keep an eye on everything. But let's move on to Philly. So Philly, the interest I have are the top two guys in Embiid and Simmons. And the reason I prefer the Philly starters to Boston is because with Philly, you know where the offense is going through. It's Embiid, it's Ben Simmons. Boston, a little bit more balanced at times. So I think you can play Embiid. I think you can play Simmons. But like I said, there's a decent chance they only play the first half. I would probably give the edge to Embiid. He's a slightly better point per minute guy than Ben Simmons. Both guys, again, can put up fantasy points in a short amount of time. And the matchup for Embiid is great against Robert Williams or Grant Williams or Taco Fall. He can definitely crush in 18 to 20 minutes. Joel Embiid, that is. So Embiid is still on my radar. I think he will be slightly lower owned just off the news we've gotten, but I still have a good amount of interest here in Joel Embiid just because, again, he's such a good point per minute guy. And if we get like 20 minutes from Embiid in this matchup, yeah, he could absolutely crush. So I'm definitely still looking to Embiid there at 7-9. Simmons in play as well, but I would prefer Embiid at a similar price. Oubre, interesting call. Yeah, I do kind of like Kelly Oubre, and Golden State is pretty thin. That last game is the game I want the most exposure to. Tobias at 7K is fine, but he's kind of the third wheel in this offense. He can get hot behind the three-point line. Again, not saying he's out of play, but I would just rather get to Embiid for a little bit more. There's absolutely no way I'm playing Danny Green at 5.8K. That could be the easiest fade of the slate, to be honest. Seth Curry at 4.9, sure. It's at a cheap enough price that he's in play because he's a guy that's a really good shooter. It can get hot. Can go out and get you like 25 fantasy points in 20 minutes. So Seth Curry, viable play. Don't hate Shake Milton either. Again, he had a decent year last year. Korkmaz is a guy that is a great three-point shooter. I think you can give a look to him as well. And then really the value, like a guy like Dwight Howard, Kyle O'Quinn, these guys are really good point per minute guys. Now, how many minutes do they see is more in question, right? I think Dwight is probably the backup, probably gets, 5-6 minutes in the first half. And my guess is he probably starts the second half, and then Kyle O'Quinn finishes the game. That's how I see it. And if you look at the depth chart here for Philly, it is, let's go down to center. Or is O'Quinn not? So, okay, is O'Quinn not on the team anymore? I saw he was, but maybe not. I could be wrong. I Googled it. I saw Kyle O'Quinn was on the roster, but on DraftKings, they don't have him here. Keep me honest, guys. Is O'Quinn is not on the roster. Okay, so do not play Kyle O'Quinn. Do not play Kyle O'Quinn. Again, he is a good point per minute guy, but he's not going to get points if he's not on the roster. So do not play Kyle O'Quinn. Thank you for keeping me honest there. Tony Bradley is a guy, former backup center for Utah. Another really good fantasy point per minute guy. Summer League All-Star a couple of years ago, if you guys followed me back then. Also, we know when Gobert has been out for the Jazz last season, like Tony Bradley was a smash play. So I actually kind of like Tony Bradley here, but how many minutes does he get is more in question. So Bradley is the value center I would look to here for Philly. Young guy. I could see him getting 15-plus minutes. I don't think he's going to be super popular. Is not in Philly, so many people will get that wrong, LOL. Okay, yep, thanks for keeping me honest. Not on the roster. See, I Googled it today, and I saw he was, but yeah, he's listed under power forward, but he's not on the roster. Like DraftKings has players that are not on the roster. But okay, so that's really my breakdown there for Philly. Again, this first game I'm not super excited about. Now with the Spurs, things change because I was pretty high on a guy like Aldridge at 6'1". Didn't mind DeRozan even though it's expensive. But with that quote with Popovich saying they want to play the younger guys more, I'm a little bit hesitant with the main guys for the Spurs. So I'm honestly, they're in play, but I'm not going to really prioritize them. The guys I'm looking to, Lonnie Walker, 5'1". Only played 13 minutes the last game, but if Pop stays true to his word, he should get good run. Now, I just want to warn you guys, this is Greg Popovich. If you're new to DFS, you're going to get popped multiple times this year. This is a situation, he could say that quote, and he could just be complete full of shit. And he just plays the regular starters normal minutes, and the young guys don't play a ton. I would not be shocked at all. So Popovich is one of those guys you always got to take it with a grain of salt. So, yeah, Lonnie Walker at the moment is my favorite Spur just because I think, if they're going to play the young guys, like he is a guy that should get a good amount of run. Is Dwight getting minutes tonight? He should. I don't expect like a ton. I would say 10 to 15. So, yeah, Lonnie's the guy for me. Another Summer League All-Star a couple of years ago as well. So, yeah, I do really like Lonnie Walker. The other options for San Antonio, like the rookie Trey Jones didn't play a ton, but I think, they're going to want to see what they have in him. So really it's the young guy, Vassell too. Vassell at 4'7". He was selected with the 11th overall pick. So those are the guys I like for San Antonio. And I actually think they're pretty solid value plays if Popovich stays true to his word. So Lonnie Walker, Vassell, Trey Jones, that's kind of where I'm looking. you will get popped LOL Vassal season. DeJounte's still in play. He is a younger guy. I'm not sure what they do with his minutes. It's his third or fourth year in the league. So does he qualify more for a veteran? Does he qualify more for a younger guy? I don't know. So that one's kind of fringe play. I don't know if he gets extended or not. 4 players out. Yep. Lonnie Walker or Halliburton. That one's close. If Corey Joseph missed the last game, so Halliburton played a ton. If Joseph is out again, then that's really close. Yeah, that one's almost a coin flip. So I think still I would slightly give the edge to Halliburton at the moment just because Popovich is the coach of the Spurs, right? Juan Toscano Anderson night. Yeah, I mean, I actually think he's in play, to be honest. We'll go over Golden State, but they are so thin up front. Does Rudy Gay qualify as part of the big lineup? LOL. I don't think Rudy. He did play 25 minutes. I don't think he plays a ton tonight. Rob or Grant Williams? I would rather play Robert Williams. He's the better point per minute guy. Guys, we're closing in on 800 viewers. If you enjoy this content, hit that like button. Can we get to 300 likes? That would be insane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But let's go to Houston. So Houston, what we know, again, Harden, 20 minutes, they said. So same thing I'll say with Embiid. Like, he can crush in 20 minutes. Definitely, like, don't cross off Harden. Don't cross off Embiid. Those are the guys in limited time that can absolutely crush. I still like Wall. I think he plays a little bit more. He played 24 minutes the last game, so maybe Harden only plays 20, but maybe Wall gets mid-20s minutes. So that's a close one, right? Do you prefer, like, 25 minutes out of Wall or 20 minutes out of James Harden? That's the question. Any Thibault? Not really, just because he's more out there for defense. Pirtle, probably not for me either. They're going to play small, they said. So, yeah, not really interested in Pirtle. Lyles, again, Lyles a younger guy too, but I just feel more confident with those guys we just went over. Liked on 2 accounts. Appreciate that, man. Thoughts on John Wall? Yep, so just kind of mention that. It's a close one, right? Is it like 25 to, let's say, 27 minutes out of John Wall versus 20 minutes out of Harden? And that's really, really close. No Christian Wood. Boogie Cousins at 6'2". They've kind of been limiting him. Only played 17. I think played 15 in the first game, 17 in the second game. So what I expect for him for minutes, probably maybe around 20. I think they bump it up a little bit. Another really good point per minute guy. In the first game, he absolutely crushed against the Bulls. He had like 35 fantasy points in 15 minutes, and no one really in the Spurs can handle Boogie. So Boogie, another guy that I think can get it done in limited time. Eric Gordon at 6K, I'm gonna pass. I'm not looking to House or Macklemore. Not really looking to anyone else on the bench. So like guys like Clemens, like Caboclo, if the starters are going to be limited, but I don't know if they get enough run to be in consideration. Like Clemens is a guy that's not afraid to shoot it. Caboclo had a nice game in the first game, but with PJ Tucker now there, I probably don't look to them. So really, it's the main guys for me on Houston. It's Harden, it's Wall, it's Boogie. Let's move on to Golden State. So this is pretty big because we have a ton of injuries to talk about in Golden State. Steph Curry played 21 minutes the last game. I think the minutes go up. Again, we don't have any confirmation of this yet, but I would say we get 25 minutes. I think it's a fair guess for Steph Curry at 7'3". You get him a little bit of a discount on the other studs. I think certainly in play. They're missing a ton of pieces. So, really do like Steph if the minutes do go up. Wiggins at 6'6", I'll pass. He's just too score independent. I just never play Andrew Wiggins. Now, Kelly Oubre, on the other hand, small forward's pretty weak. Played 22 minutes at last game. I think he could play, some small ball 4. So I think Kelly Oubre is actually a pretty nice play here at 5.9K, just because the position, small forward, again, is pretty thin. So I think Oubre is a nice play in the mid-range. We have no Draymond. We have no Pascal. Marquise Chris, we don't have confirmation yet. He's questionable. So let's just go to Golden State, right? So Chris questionable, Wiseman out, Smolcic out. If Chris misses, Looney will probably have to play over 20 minutes. And at 4.7, I think at the moment he's one of the better value plays just because they don't have a lot of depth in the front court. If you look at power forward, again, Oubre and then Toscano Anderson. So really, Juan Toscano Anderson is actually in play here at min price. He last year, if you guys played NBA DFS, there was times when Golden State was really thin. Toscano Anderson would crush. So yeah, he's actually in play here at the flat min. I don't think a ton of people play him. So yeah, right. Golden State is just really, really thin up front. So I like the bigs. Looney, Chris, if he plays, and then again, Oubre, even Toscano Anderson, just because they don't have a lot of options here. Bazemore, for it, I also have interest in. Revenge game narrative. He played really well off the bench. He was kind of the guy, manning the second unit, the alpha in the second unit. At 4-8, I think that's definitely in play. So really, there's a good amount of Golden State plays I like here. You can make an argument for a lot of guys like Wanamaker, Damian Lee. Like these guys should get decent run, but really where they're the thinnest is the front court. So for me, it's the main guys and then the guys up front. So it's like Steph, it's Oubre. I think Bazemore definitely in play, revenge game narrative, and then it's the front court are the guys I'm really looking to. Again, like Damian Lee has flashed upside in games for Golden State last year. He's a good shooter. So there is a decent amount here for Golden State that I do like. Revenge game narrative. Yeah, a revenge game narrative. Kai Bowman last year. Let's see, Boogie or Robert Williams on FanDuel. I think if price doesn't matter, you go Boogie Cousins. But all right, let's talk about Sacramento here. So starters for Sacramento have been getting like mid-20s minutes. So another team I feel pretty good about. De'Aaron Fox at 7-1. This is tricky with the rest of the studs, right? Do you like maybe 25 to 30 minutes out of Fox versus 20 minutes out of Harden or 20 minutes out of Embiid, right? It's really close. Like, that's really close. Obviously, straight up, if Fox, Harden, and Embiid were all playing the same minutes, I'm going to prioritize Embiid. I'm going to prioritize Harden. But Fox will play more, so it makes a question. You're going to have to make some tough calls with these spend-ups. So I do like De'Aaron Fox. Definitely in play. Again, it's really, really close with, like, do I prefer 25 to 30 minutes out of Fox or 20-ish minutes out of Embiid, out of Harden? Buddy Hield at 6'7", in play as well. A little more scoring dependent, but this is a team, again, Sacramento has been giving the starters some good runs. So Fox, Hield in play. I'd prefer Fox to Hield, but I think Fox will also be a lot higher owned. Now with Whiteside and Bagley, we don't have confirmation yet. So they said expected to be back sometime next week. That was a couple days ago with Bagley. Whiteside's been dealing with a calf injury. We'll see. If they both miss again, then a guy like Rashawn Holmes is a really nice value play. He played 27 minutes. He's a guy that is aggressive. He's a guy who can shoot the blocks, the steals. And again, they are pretty thin up front if Whiteside and Bagley are out. So Rashawn Holmes is a really nice value play. Again, dependent, though, on Whiteside Bagley news. Like if Whiteside and Bagley both play, not as excited about like Rashawn Holmes. Halliburton at 5K, yes, I like him. He played 30 minutes last game. He filled up the stat sheet. The question is, right, does Corey Joseph play? Because Corey Joseph played that last game, or the first game, and Halliburton only played 20 minutes. He missed the most recent game, and Halliburton played 30 minutes. So if Kojo's out again, then I think we get 25 to 30-ish minutes out of Halliburton. And at 5K, again, he's shooting guard eligible too. Shooting guard, small forward, usually the weakest positions. I do like Halliburton for value. Below that, you can look at Kyle Guy too, the second-year player. I would probably prefer Halliburton. He played a little bit more, but Guy, you could look to get a little bit contrarian. And below that, that's really it for me. So that's kind of it for the player-by-player breakdown. Let's refresh this, see if we miss anything. Again, I'm going to have to rearrange probably a couple things in my lineup. So if I look at my phone here for a sec, just bear with me. Let's see. Okay. Again, I will get to questions. We have 20 minutes until lock, so don't worry, guys. We have a good amount of time, right? It's only 3 games. I don't think I've missed anything. If I did, let me know, guys, in the chat as far as news-wise. Harrison Barnes is locked. I didn't mention Harrison Barnes. He actually is in play. Like I don't like playing Harrison Barnes because he's a lower usage guy, but he's been okay. Last game, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Like the reason he's in play is just because of the minutes. Again, he's a low usage guy, stay in the corner guy. It is a revenge game too, if you're into that. So yeah, Harrison Barnes, didn't mention him. He is in play too. Not as excited about it because again, lower usage guy, but if he gets hot behind the 3-point line, he can put up some nice stats. Small forward is absolute the worst. Yes, it is. All right, so I'm going to keep an eye on chat, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me make a change or two here with the news that we got with the Spurs. again, I'm still a little bit hesitant with the young guys from the Spurs, just because it's Popovich, and you just, again, can never fully trust him, really. I will give you guys a core in a sec. Let's see. Steph or Fox? That one's really close. I think I go Steph. Should we trust the vaccine? Harden or Wall? Again, that one's almost a toss up too. DK shot. What are you changing? So I'm looking to get Aldridge out of my lineup just off the news we got. Again, I'm going to try to do that while keep an eye on this. I guess I only have one player in the early game, so I could just do that after stream, to be honest. But all right, let's give you guys a core. And this is tricky. Again, there's not a ton of guaranteed plays on this slate. So for center, this is going to be the key, right? You have probably about 20 minutes out of Embiid. I think he could absolutely smash. Cousins, about 20 minutes. I think he could absolutely smash. And then, again, potential value here with Holmes, with Looney. So this is tricky, right? I think, and it's something I'm debating right now on stream, right? Like, do I want Holmes, like right now, straight up, like full disclosure, I have Holmes and Looney in my lineup, but do I want to get like 18 to 20 minutes of Embiid in there? I might want to. So, and again, I'm messing around with some stuff. I do think you're going to want to play two centers. Like, center is pretty loaded, right? So it's Embiid, it's Boogie, and it's those value guys with Holmes and Looney, just because, again, potentially Holmes, potentially Looney, if, those other guys are out. So what I want to give you guys for a core. I'm going to try to get Embiid, I think. Because I think like 18 to 20 minutes of Embiid, I just think he could crush in this matchup. So I'm going to throw Embiid in there. And then this one is either Holmes or Looney. Obviously, you can't play both if you play Embiid. But let's go to center. Holmes, Looney. I would play one of those guys if Whiteside and Bagley are out, and if Chris is out, again, Holmes, Looney should play a good amount of minutes. For now, I'm going to go Holmes just because he's played a bit more, right? He's been playing mid-20s minutes. And if Whiteside and Bagley are out, I assume about the same again. So I'm going to go Holmes there with Embiid. Again, you don't necessarily have to play Embiid. You can go Holmes. You can go Looney like I originally had. But I just think like Embiid, even in limited time, it's just so scary to fade. So I'm going to go with those two. Looney doesn't seem as good of a play with Chris active. Is Chris active confirmed? I haven't seen that yet. Tatum and Cashing, I would prefer the other studs to Tatum, to be honest. Not saying he's out of play, but I prefer the other studs. And then I think it's going to be, again, the late game. This is the game I feel the best about. So who else do I want to throw in here? We don't have confirmation, so it's a little bit tricky. But if Steph gets 25 minutes, I like him at 7-3. So we'll throw Steph in there. And it's tough because I'm still building my lineup too. So I would say those three plus maybe one of the Houston guards or Fox. That's what I'm kind of debating as well. Again, there's no standout plays on this slate, so it is a little bit more difficult, right? It hasn't been last couple of days. Again, the Lakers, easy plays. Pelicans, easy plays. Why fade Aldridge? We got news that the Spurs want to play the young guys more and not as much for the veterans. So is Williams in your core? Robert Williams, I don't think he's a must. He is a pretty decent play if we get like 15-ish minutes out of Robert Williams. So I think you can throw him in there. He will be pretty popular. Again, he's not a must play, but I do like him for value. He's probably my favorite play in Boston. Just because, again, when this guy gets minutes, he's normally very productive. So, yeah, you can throw Robert Williams in there if you want to. I think that's a perfectly fine way to go about it. Let's see. And then, yeah, again, I like the Spurs for value too. Those young guys. So guys like Lonnie Walker, Vassell, Trey Jones. Like Vassell played, what did he play? He played like mid-20s minutes at last game. And if they're going to extend him even more, I think Vassell at a weak small forward position is a pretty nice play. Two more. Yeah, we are almost at 300 likes, guys. If you enjoy the content, hit that like button. Fox will crush. Again, I do like Fox. Any news in Kings minutes? We don't, but we've seen mid-20s minutes from them. Jeff Teague, not as excited about Teague. Murray or Oubre, I think I give the edge to Oubre. Ben Simmons, I prefer Embiid to Ben Simmons. Favorite min price forward, I think it's going to be Toscano Anderson, to be honest, just because I think he has the best shot to play the most minutes. So min price forward, again, O'Quinn, don't play O'Quinn. He's no longer on the team. I think Samancic actually, won't play in two. Okay, he's actually out. So don't play Samancic either. Yeah, I think it's Toscano Anderson. You like Tatum or Brown? Not really. They're more contrarian options. I would rather get to Embiid. I think I'd rather get to Harden. I think I'd rather get to Steph or Fox. Robert Williams is a trap. He's going to foul. I honestly, I think there's like a decent chance he gets like 3 fouls in like 3 minutes. Rather get to Simmons or Tatum? That's close. I guess Tatum, just because I probably don't want to play Simmons and Embiid in limited action. Favorite small forward? It's those value guys, I think. So guys like Vassell, guys like Oubre, Buddy Hield's even in play if you have that salary. So like Hield, Oubre, Vassell. I think Bazemore is certainly in play too. And don't feel like you have to use all the salary. You can definitely leave some salary on the table here. There's some pretty decent cheap plays. Harden, I do like Harden. In 20 minutes, again, you have to make a tough call. 20 minutes of Harden versus 25-ish out of Wall, 25-ish out of Fox, 25-ish out of Steph. So close. Danny Green, the captain spot, no way. Is Bruno still in play? With Tucker now there too, yes, but I probably don't do it tonight. Vassell, Lyles, and Walker, all good value. Yes, I'd probably give the edge to Vassell and Walker. But yeah, Wall or Embiid, I think I go Embiid. Favorite forward under 7,000. Let's see, under 7,000. Either Hield or Oubre. I feel the best about their minutes. So that's probably what I would do. Any DeRozan, again, I'm not as excited about the Spurs studs off of what the news that we have. Thoughts on playing all Williams, Holmes, and Chris? Yeah, that's fine if Chris plays. Easiest fade ever, I agree. Do you plan on playing Vassell or Walker? Yes. I'm a little bit hesitant because it's Greg Popovich, right? And you always, again, if you're new to DFS, you're going to get popped multiple times. Thoughts on DeRozan? I'm hesitant after that news that we just got. Lyles and Scott both in play. I would probably play Lyles if we're talking about Mike Scott. My line is Fox, Harden, Oubre, Vassell, Looney, Walker, Hield, Curry. Can't wait to get popped. Yeah, no, I do like that lineup. I do. Favorite forward play under 5K that isn't Vassell or Williams? Under 5K that's not Vassell or Williams. Let's see. I think Bazemore. Bazemore off the bench. He's going to be a high-usage guy. It's a revenge game. I'll go Kent Bazemore. Simmons or Fox? I would go Fox. It's close there again, like 18-ish minutes out of Simmons versus 25-plus out of Fox. I think I give the edge to Fox there. Seth Curry, viable, but I'm not really prioritizing him. Patty Mills, no, he's a veteran. I'm going to look elsewhere. I know he had a good shooting day last time, but I'm going to pass. Halliburton or Anderson? Halliburton if you can get to him. Walker or Vassell? Well, Vassell played more, but Lonnie's probably the more talented player at the moment, so that one's close. Lonnie, I think, but yeah, that's really close. Can you play Vassell and Walker together? Yes, you can. You 100% can. Let's see. Is Oubre at play? Yes, he is. Tony Bradley playing? I think. He's their third string center. I assume he gets kind of the garbage time. I would say 10 to 15 minutes out of Tony Bradley is definitely in play, and I don't think a ton of people play him. Can't wait to see the winning lineup tonight. Same. It's going to be an interesting slate for sure. Barnes or Bazemore? I would rather go with the high usage guy in Bazemore off the bench. DK thoughts? Curry, Harden, Vassell, Time Lord, Embiid, Lonnie, Oubre, Holmes. I like it. DK thoughts in this line? Fox, Harden, Vassell, Barnes, Embiid, Toscano, Anderson, Holmes, Looney. I think that's good. Barnes or Vassell? I would rather go Vassell's. Bielitsa playable. Contrarian. I'm not prioritizing him. Harden or Embiid? That one's a coin flip. Both should play about 20 minutes. Peyton Pritchard, yeah, they're going to give a lot of guys a lot of minutes. Not as excited there. Williams or Bazemore? That one's close. That one's really close. I think Bazemore plays more. Williams is the better point per minute guy. That's really close for me. Wiggins, I'm not looking to Wiggins. Toscano, yeah, I think Toscano Anderson is in play. Just especially if Chris misses. If Chris misses, then he should get good minutes. Is this a core? Yeah, again, I think it's Embiid and one of those value centers. You don't have to play Embiid. You can go Holmes and Looney here, right? I do like that build as well. It's just load up in the centers. Robert Williams is not necessarily a must-play, but he's a really, really good point per minute guy. So, again, I like Harden in 20 minutes, or you can go John Wall. So there's a couple of different ways you can go on this slate for sure. Again, I do like the Spurs young guys. Do like Bruno, not as much. Toscano or Bazemore? Bazemore if you can get to him. I'd rather Bazemore. The stream is popping, DK. Good work. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we hit over 800 viewers. That is insane. We're over 320 likes. Fox or Wall? That one's also really close, right? There's some tough calls with these spend ups. That one's that's basically a coin flip. I wish I had a stronger take, but I don't. Curry or Fox, again, kind of similar, right? Really, really close there. Oubre, Grant, Wall, or Rob Williams and Vassell. Oubre and Grant Williams or Robert Williams and Vassell? I'd rather have Robert Williams and Vassell. Aldridge, again, I'm not as excited about the Spurs guys off that news. Now, we could get popped, and Popovich could play the veterans a good amount of minutes, but based on what we saw, I assume he plays the younger guys a bit more. Sorry if I'm looking at my phone, guys. I am monitoring or trying to change my lineup around. I think I landed on something that I like. I'm going to go with this. Walker or Baze? Lonnie Walker or Bazemore? That one's closest as well. I think Baze at the moment is maybe... It just depends what they do with the minutes for the Spurs. Like, we don't know, right? Lonnie played 13 that last game. So how many minutes does he get? Fox over Wall, I'm fine with that. Again, that one's really, really close for me as well. Holmes or Williams? I think straight up I would go Holmes there if you can do it, because Holmes I'm more confident with the minutes. But again, that's assuming Bagley and Whiteside are out. Now, if that's a late game, and if Bagley and Whiteside play, then I think we only get like 15 minutes out of Holmes. So in that situation, you go Williams. But again, we're not going to get that news, so tough one there. Wall or Fox? With Harden playing, again, a lot of people have asked me that. I'm going to go Fox. But it's really, really close. Really, really close. Harden or Curry? I think Harden, if you can get to him. Is Bielitsa in play? I prefer the other Kings, to be honest. The Spurs vets played such big minutes. I think Pop keeps his word. So again, the Spurs I like, guys: Vassell, Lonnie Walker, and Trey Jones. I think they get decent run. Like Trey Lyles, you can make an argument for him. He's a decent point per minute guy. But that's really where I'm looking for the Spurs. Again, the first game, just in general, I'm not as excited about that. Full disclosure, I'm only playing two guys in this game now, and it's Robert Williams and Embiid. It's the two bigs. And the reason I'm going Robert Williams, again, he's a really good point per minute guy. I actually am worried about him getting in foul trouble and like playing limited minutes because of it. Embiid, the reason I'm going Embiid is just because of the matchup itself, and I think he can crush in 18 to 20 minutes. So that's what I'm playing in the first game. Again, other than that, there's really not a ton I like. Like, there are some potential value plays we went over. With Houston, it's the studs I like. So it's Harden, it's Wall, it's Boogie. On the Spurs, it's the young guys, right? We just went over that. Lonnie, Vassell, and Trey Jones. And this is my favorite game to target. Golden State, Sacramento. I feel the most comfortable with the minutes here. Golden State could be potentially really thin up front. We went over that. But yeah, Steph at the top. I think Oubre. I think Bazemore. Looney, Chris if he plays. If not, I think you can make an argument for Toscano Anderson at min price. On the Kings, I like Fox, Hield viable. Really, all the starters are in play. Halliburton if Corey Joseph is out. So, yeah, this is the game I feel the most comfortable with, that late game. Vassell, Barnes, I'd rather play Vassell. Tobias or Buddy Hield, I'd rather play Buddy Hield for the minutes. Bazemore or Hield, well, if price doesn't matter, Buddy. But taking price into consideration, I'll go Bazemore. Thoughts on Boogie because Spurs play small ball? I like Boogie. I think he plays about 20 minutes. So you can definitely go Boogie over Embiid, right? You can save a little bit of money there. I don't hate that. Why play Robert Williams when everyone else is already doing that? Is he going to score? You can't. Well, they're pretty thin up front, or Boston, that is. So, no Tice, no Tristan Thompson. It's Robert Williams, it's Taco Fall, and it's Grant Williams. I don't think they're going to want to play undersized Grant Williams a ton against Embiid. So, I think there's a real possibility we could get like 15 to 20 minutes out of Robert Williams. We could. They do like rotating the center, so I think a fair guess for Robert Williams' minutes is about 15. And in 15 minutes, I think we probably get, if he stays out of foul trouble, 15 to 20 fancy points. So, no, he's not a must play, but thoughts on Toscano? For sure in play, but more viable if Chris is out. If Chris is out, again, we went over that. They have no one in the front court. Rate, please. Fox, Harden, Oubre, Toscano. Fox, Harden, Oubre, Toscano, Embiid, Steph, Vassell, Trey Jones. I think it looks good. Hey, fellow DK. Curry, Harden, Vassell, Oubre, Boogie, Halliburton, Toscano, Embiid. I like it. Thoughts on Kenny Martin Jr.? Not for me. Chris active. Is he active? Okay. So with Chris being active, I'm not as excited about Toscano Anderson. Just because I don't think he plays as many minutes. Rudy Gay or Toscano Anderson? Not as excited about either now. Again, with Chris playing. No love for Caboclo. Caboclo's still in play, but I'm not prioritizing him. Walker or Halliburton? Which Walker are we talking about here? Oh, Lonnie Walker or Halliburton? Again, that's close. If Corey Joseph is out, I go Halliburton. We don't know for sure what the minutes can be like for these Spurs guys. I'm seeing on Facebook Chris is in. Okay, so Chris is in again. Not really super excited about Toscano Anderson then at mid price. Did you say Barnes is a good play? Harrison Barnes, I think he's fine in the mid range. He should get 20-ish, 25-ish minutes. Walker or Halliburton again. That's really close. It depends what you think Popovich does. If you think really he only plays the vets like maybe the first half and the young guys play the second half, then probably Lonnie. But he only played 13 minutes the first game. Again, it's really close. You like Barnes for low on play. I think he's fine. I'm rolling with Fox, Harden, Vassell, Williams, Embiid, Steph, Bazemore, and Rashawn Holmes. I like that. Thoughts on... okay, let's see. Sorry if I missed this. Thoughts on P.J. Tucker? No, thank you on P.J. Tucker. Oubre or Hield? Hield if price doesn't matter. 50-50, Curry, Hield, Vassell, Embiid, Fox, Bazemore, Halliburton. I think that's good. This slate was terrible. Yeah, it's honestly not as good of a slate as previous slates. So I took it a little bit light. I've been playing the Slam every day. I did not play the Slam just because, well, first, it filled up right away. Ownership. This is ownership. I'm in a $50 tournament. We have Robert Williams at 60% owned, Embiid at 27%. So let's see Embiid crush in limited minutes. Thanks, DK. Good luck. Bielitsa, more contrarian play. How does this look, DK? Curry, Harden, Vassell, Robert Williams, Embiid, Fox, Bazemore, and Holmes. I like that a lot. Do you like Wiggins or Tobias Harris better? I don't really like either. Well, Tobias is locked, right? That game is locked, but I guess Wiggins, I think he plays more. I don't want to play either. Robert Williams about 60%. Again, I did expect him to be pretty popular. What's the lineup? I'll go over my lineup at the end of the night in my next video for Wednesday. But yeah, the only guys I've going this early game are Robert Williams and Embiid. Embiid is the key for me, right? He's 27% owned. And again, the reason I got to him is I think he can literally put up like 40 fantasy points in 20 minutes. But that's the risk I was willing to. Bazemore, Toscano, definitely Bazemore. Simmons, 15%, fine. Holmes or Halliburton. Depends on Whiteside and Bagley news. If they're both out, I'll go Holmes. Why so many people playing Harris? Tobias Harris? I don't know. I would rather play Embiid. Lonnie Walker, Buddy Hield. Hield or price doesn't matter. Do you think Rudy Gay is a shot at being good value? I'm not really looking to the Spurs veterans. I'm worried about their minutes off of what we got. Tatum over 30%. I'm okay getting away from that. Like, again, I think he was more of a contrarian play today. Chris should be lower owned. He should. Rob Williams only 35%. Depends what tournament you're in. I guess the higher dollar, he'll probably be a little bit higher owned. Is Chris playing? Yes, we got confirmation of that. You like John Wall? Yeah, there's tough decisions you have to make at the guard, right? You have Wall, you have Steph, you have Fox, you have Harden. Got Time Lord 35% and Embiid 31%. Bazemore or Vassell? I think Vassell because I think he plays more minutes, but that one's close. Hield or Lonnie? Again, Hield if price doesn't matter. What do you think? Who do you think wins if you had to pick the winners based off bench skill? What do you mean? Lyles pivot from Toscano. So how many minutes did Trey Lyles play that last game for the Spurs? I'm curious. So Trey Lyles played 23 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I think I would rather play Lyles than Toscano. Again, with Chris playing, I'm not as excited about Toscano just because that would have been a minutes thing, right? Anyone know Danny Green ownership? I would say really, really low. Bazemore and Harden or Fox and Hield? Yeah, that one's close. I'll go Bazemore and Harden, but again, that's really, really close. Any last minute questions, guys, or I'll get out here. I'm going to go watch this game, see how it goes. I do appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream. Crazy, crazy support. We had over 800 viewers. Insane. Bazemore and Harden or Fox. Okay, I just answered that 5%. All right, guys. I'm going to get out here. It just tipped off. Okay, so Holmes or Lonnie Walker. It's Holmes if Whiteside and Bagley are out. I'm going to go watch these games. Thank you for coming to check out the live stream. Yes, you can play Chris. He'll be lower owned. I appreciate the support more than you know. Again, I'll have a video up for Wednesday slate later tonight. Be on the lookout for that. Follow me on Twitter so you don't miss any news. I'll keep you guys updated. Again, we're kind of waiting on Golden State and Sacramento confirmation news. Hopefully get some sort of clarity on starters minutes. There's Kyle Guy viable, more contrarian. Bazemore or Oubre. Again, Oubre if you can get to him. Just getting this into want to say thanks for the clear, concise streams. Enjoy the games. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm going to end this stream. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck, and I will see you all later.